My mom knew this man was coming into my room. I could smell the alcohol on his breath, how he'll climb on top of me. And she didn't do nothing.
Okay, Alicia. Alicia, where are you from originally?
I'm from Houston, Texas.
And how long have you been here in LA?
7 to 8 months.
Oh, so you're new here.
Yes.
What got you? What brought you out here?
The things that I was going through at home, staying with my mother. You know, all the way from being a child, all the way still up until being an adult. The things that she keep pretending and looking the other way that she be allowing to happen to me.
Like what?
Like her first husband, he kept me as a child, and she knew he was doing it, and wouldn't say nothing. She knew he was coming in my room.
She never stopped him?
She never stopped him. It's like looking the other way, pretending like it's not happening. And I'm her oldest child. I'm the firstborn. A mother is supposed to protect their child.
Yeah. How old were you when this was going on?
I'm 8 years old. And right to this day, the one that she married, he's not my real father. But he's my other sister and brother's father. So my sisters, I had let them know what was happening because I didn't want the same thing to happen to them. By me being the oldest and trying to be like a big brother by protecting them. And my two brothers, they were the last two to be born. I didn't ever share it with them because I didn't want them to change how they felt towards their father, because I knew how much they loved him. But then when he got on his sick bed, and he had already changed his life, gave his life to God, he had asked me to forgive him for the things that he had done to me, and said that I had been protecting him all these years. But my mother, that's a skeleton in her closet. She let me grow up. I'm the only one in our family that's ever been in jail or cigarettes or drink. Or the rest of my siblings are totally the opposite. It's like being the black sheep of the family. And my mother, she belittles me. She does verbal to me all the time. Then she remarried another guy who's 10 years younger than her. 10 years younger than her. And my mom and him put me out. And sometimes I would come to my mother and ask her, could I get a couple of hours of sleep there at their house? And then when
kicked you out?
Yeah, my mom and him, because he asked me could he have both of us, and that's something just she gives him anything. He's on everything.
Oh, so he wanted to have.
Yeah. My mother is the bread, and my stepfather, he gets money, but she lets him do whatever he wants to do with his money. When I woke up, the man was laying up. My mom sleeps in the front living room. He won't even let my mom sleep in the bed with him. So she sleeps in the front living room, and she has her own bedroom. And she on the couch, he's playing sleep. Because whenever he's on any type of controlled substance, she's not gonna never go to sleep. She's gonna stay up and watch him because she feel like he's dangerous then. But she laid on that couch. And I laid on the couch across from her. It was like deja vu all over again. When I woke up, this man was laying butt naked on his back on the floor, taking my hand and fumbling with my mom on the other couch across from me while she laid there and played like she was asleep. I felt like how I felt all over again. And then one time my mom let me come there and go to sleep, and she told me to go get in her bed and go to sleep. And what made me wake up, he had came in my mom's room and got in the bed with me naked. And so I came running out of my mother's room, out of her bed, and curled up like in a fetus position on the floor, on the side of my mom. And when he did wake up, he came out my mom's room, and he had the girls that come to the thigh, the panty girls that come here. He had on one of them. They looked like biking shorts on him, but they wasn't. But they was my mom's girdle. And it's just how she never did teach me about ministration or boys or how to cook. I never will understand that. She done put me in every rehab there is in Houston, Texas. She didn't miss one. But she acted like she never could understand. She never attended any type of family meeting or group meeting to educate herself on why I fell in the condition that I was in. When I did get tired of doing it, I grabbed onto the Lord because I stayed on the streets for 8 years. For 8 years. As a giving my body up for $2, sucking. You hear me? My family, they were so ashamed of me. It's like they had totally distanced themselves. And I didn't associate with them because I felt like I was an embarrassment to them by me being the oldest. And so one day, since I had to try all types of I decided to try the Lord. I started getting in the habit and practicing, making it part of my routine every day. To read the Bible in the morning and in the evening. To naturally the instructions in the Bible start helping me to change my life. And so I stayed clean for 14 years until I relapsed. I wasn't going around people who don't have to relapse by going back to the old neighborhood, just being unhappy. You can have everything you want. The Lord was blessing me. When he said he is your shepherd, you shall not want. I did not want for nothing. I just didn't have a man in my life. And when I did allow one to come in my life, I fell in love with the way he was, I always have been old-fashioned, antique, and he was ungodly. I fell in love with him. I allowed this man to beat me all the time with anything he'd get his hands on. You hear me? I thought that was love. I loved him so much till I wanted a child for this man. I ended up having a child for this man. This man me through my whole 9 months of pregnancy. You hear me? Eventually, this man ended up going to jail after I had my baby. I had my child, and he got popped because he was a dealer and I was a you hear me? Who get with men for money and you hear me? When he got popped and went to jail, our son was 7 months old. While he's in jail, I had made up my mind to change my life. And because the baby had made a difference in my life, to have the baby, it made a difference in my life.
This is your only child?
He's my only child. I had to be the mother and the daddy. I never did get on any type of food stamps. I never did get on any type of government assistance. I didn't put child support on him or anything. When I was the mother and dad to my son. When he came out, our son was 6 years old. He left when he was 7 months old. I had God fully in my life all the way. I was going to college full-time at University of Houston. My major was criminal justice. I was working full-time for M&M Mars Candy. They make Snickers, Three Musketeers, Milky Way, Skittles, and Starburst. I had to save my money up in an apartment till I had to buy me a house. You hear me? A house. I had all the bills that a married couple would have. Whatever year it was, that's what year my ride was. Let me tell you something about the Lord. Every time I wanted me something brand new, he didn't let me get it out the parking lot. He let my vehicles come off the showroom floor. I had him so full in my life, he was overflowing my cup with blessings. For me to be able to work full-time, go to school full-time, buying a house, brand new truck, fixing the maintenance. When I relapsed, after letting that ungodly man, now I know what unequally yoke is now. When one of us is off into the Lord and one of us is not. I started slacking up in everything that had something to do with the Lord. I had him all the way in my life. Until I started falling in love with a you hear me the way somebody was because I wasn't the type after getting off the and had my body up for so many years, you couldn't get me to open my legs anymore. Once I became godly, you couldn't let me. I wouldn't let nobody touch me. I wouldn't let no man come in my life. But I tried, by me being the oldest, and try to set an example for my sisters and brothers. I allowed that man who I had a baby for to come back in my life after he had been gone all those years till our son was 6 years old. This is a man who did not have a relationship with his own son. Yeah. I named my son after him. He's a junior. Well, I became the bread. Just like how my mom is the bread at her house, I became the bread. I became the bread. Before I even let him, before he even got out of jail, because I had brought the Lord all the way in my life. You hear me? The Lord had blessed me with a good job. He had blessed me with his strength for me to be able to work full time, go to school full time, and raise a baby by myself without any type of government assistance. For me to be buying a house, driving a new vehicle with no help from my family or no man. I give all the credit to the Lord, you hear me? I was actually walking. I know what it's like to be all the way down to when you're sucking for a hit and you letting somebody for $2. I know what it's like to be all the way down there. You hear me? And I know what it's like to be all the way up there when it's all about the Lord. Now, when you got him first every day in your life for 14 years. Now, after relapsing, I learned from it. Because everything that the Lord allowed you to go through, he expects for you to learn from it. These are all called trials and tribulations. And in the Bible, he tells you when you go through your tribulations to be cheerful. But I learned from them too. I learned about the unequally yoked. I learned about not turning to the family, to turn to a stranger. I learned what will happen if you slack up in everything that has something to do with the Lord, you hear me? He say it'll be two gods. You're going to love one and despise the other. Satan is a god, you hear me? Every decision I always made, it had to be something that was pleasing to the Lord for me not to make any wrong choices. The privilege that the Lord give you is to make your own choices. He give you that privilege. Don't nobody make you do anything. You can make a healthy choice or you can make a choice, one or the other. If something ain't going right, it's because of the choices that you make. Every day that I choose to live without the Lord in my life now to the fullest, ain't nothing gonna go right for me. It's gonna take the Lord. I call it a monkey. I got that monkey back on my back again. He back on my back. And I know what I got to do, but the Lord said, well, how long you gonna continue to suffer? You hear me? And I said, He said, how long you gonna keep being foolish? And I said, well, you sure right, Lord. You sure right, because being out here in a state that ain't got no family, and I ain't never been here, and I'm experiencing things I never dreamed that I could ever experience being here in California. Some of the stuff is just so overwhelming here. It's so overwhelming until I just break down. It makes you talk to the Lord. You hear me? It'll make you talk to the Lord because I don't have nobody but the Lord here. And sometimes I'm down and sometimes I'm back up, you hear me? And the only way I'm going to stay up is to continue to build my relationship with the Lord. My stepfather, I couldn't take a bath in that house if my mama left to go to the bank or something because this man would bust in that bathroom. He took the doorknob off the bathroom. It fixed my bedroom where it wasn't locked no more. That's the only time I had to worry about him. But he was so disrespectful. And the things that my mom knew he was doing that she allowed, just the second man she had allowed. I'm somebody who ain't never had counseling. I wrote my life story one time in 100 pages in one of the rehabs. How my mom knew this man was coming into my room. I could smell the alcohol on his breath, how he'll climb on top of me. And she didn't do nothing. But when he get ready to die, I said, if Daddy don't make it, because I call him Daddy. I said, if Daddy don't make it, I'm bringing that skeleton out the closet because it had been in the closet for so long. It had been in the closet for so long. Was she allowed? That's so bad when a mother knows what's happening to her child and she don't do nothing. That's so terrible. You hear me? That's a monster. You don't even say the word God unless you're telling me I ain't got God in me. You tried to beat me up with verbal. Shoot, I know I don't have to listen to somebody talk verbal. She actually does verbal. I call it jealous spirits. You hear me? I'm her firstborn. She ought to be proud of me because I'm the one who came off the as a stone face and running. I'm the only one that has ever been to college. My mom made all my clothes. Everything I wore to school every day, my mom made it. When her and my dad was together, she didn't have to work. But one day when we came home from school, my mom said, well, let's pack up everything and go. So when my dad came home, we was gone. My mama never did tell us why we was moving out and leaving Daddy. But I knew it. I knew it. It was for her. It was time. She should have been pulled us out of that house for her to know that her husband was coming in my bedroom messing with me. She should have been done it. She should have been done something about it. But the other siblings, right to this day, my brothers and them still don't know.
So your brothers and sisters, by either of your fathers? Your stepdad or your other dad? Just you?
No, only me. I'm the only one with a different father, and all the rest of them have the same father, and all of us have the same mother. By my mother not accepting responsibility of teaching me the things that a mother's supposed to teach, I made it my responsibility to teach my sister and them all the things my mom didn't teach me. Administration, boys, cooking, birth control, training bras, and right to this day, when my niece, by her not teaching me, and she didn't teach my sister and them, I didn't sugarcoat nothing to my sister and them. I stayed real with them. I let them know things that they needed to know as growing up in life. And when my sister and them had girls, when they got pregnant and they had girl babies, guess what? When they grew up old enough, I went to the library and I rented the film, and I showed that film about menstruation that they show you in school. I did my nieces the same way because I felt like if my sister and them didn't learn from my mom, that they might do their girls like that and not talk to them or tell them about things they needed to know as they were being girls growing up. So I did it with my nieces and nephews, my nieces now. And as far as the nephews and my son, I always taught my son. That made me didn't want to have no more kids, you hear me? They wouldn't tie my tubes because I waited till I was 30-something to have a baby. I'm the oldest, and I was the last one to bring a grandchild in the family, the last one to have a baby. To be away from them is a relief to them. But if I was to ever grab back onto the Lord, I would be an ATM machine again to them. You hear me? An ATM. When you love a family member, I don't care what condition that they fall in, you're supposed to love all of them, the good and the bad. The Lord don't change on none of us. He just got his hand out all day long to the disobedient, contrary people. He forgives us for all our sins, and he remembers no more. So in order for me to grab back on the Lord, I came right back here. I had never been here, but the first time I grabbed onto the Lord, I left Texas and went to Louisiana. And when I came back from Louisiana, I was untouchable. It's like having on the full armor of God, Ephesians 6:10-18. It's just full armor. Anything that try to come against you, and by then I was so off into the Lord, I fell in love with the Lord. I didn't even want a man in my life because the Lord was blessing me with everything I wanted. I didn't even need no man. Then I started. That man, when that man came out to being locked up all them years, I said, I call myself setting examples. To try to raise my son, be with the father of my child, not have this daddy and that daddy for this child and that daddy for that child, because that's how they are. I'm the only one to have one child in this family, and I'm the last one to have a child. I moved around and enjoyed my life before I had decided to have a baby. I stayed in Atlanta, Georgia 5 years. I ain't had no kids. First time I ever had a drink of alcohol was at Red Lobster on my 21st birthday in Atlanta, Georgia. A Long Island iced tea. I got so sick, I'd say it took me a long time before I had ever had a drink with some alcohol in it again. But that was my first time.
What is your...
It's my, I call it the devil love potion. It's something that we put in our body, and our body is his temple. It's abomination to the Lord to use any of those, because all those don't bring nothing positive in your life. He tells us in Genesis, he said, go and multiply and be fruitful. Fruitful is everything that's positive. You hear me? Yeah. And the only way a person can say they happy, you ain't gonna be happy. You can only get happiness with the Lord. God is a jealous God. You ain't finna be happy and don't serve him. He's not gonna let it go like that. I learned that. It's all about him. It's all about him. That's why he say, come to me for rest. Take my yoke. Them instructions are real. Them instructions teaches us how to deal with everything we going through on a daily basis with these principalities, witchcraft, these evil spirits that you can't even see with the eye. They're around us, you hear me? But I learned the Lord, and I'm going to grab back onto him again. And when I grab onto him, I'm going back to Houston. And I'm going to open up me a business. It's going to be called Northwest Side Washington. I'm going to put it in between both neighborhoods where I did all my stealing in. I'm gonna give back to both communities, because the Washington that they have to go to in both them neighborhoods that I did all that messing up my life in, they have to get on a bus and ride the bus quite a bit of ways just to get to the laundromat. It'll make money year round. It'll prosper. I'm gonna put a borderline right there by the elders. He talk about the elders in the Bible, and then you got the projects, the village with the women and children. That's going to help them to have a Washington right up at the corner, right there in the corner, and it's going to be right there in the neighborhood. I'm going to give back to the community that I did so much wrongdoing in. I did so much wrongdoing. It's where I changed my life and then turned it right back upside down. You hear me? Turned it right back upside down. Oh boy, it took one hit. That man brought that in my house. Why would you bring something in my house that had me towed down for 8 years? You got everything. I bought him 2 cars. He got one to drive to work, one to drive on the weekend. He didn't make as much money as I did. On Father's Day and Mother's Day, he might give me 150. On Father's Day, shit, I'm finna give you what I want you to have. I'm finna give you $1,000. Go do whatever you want. If it's some rims that he been looking at for his car, and he told his best friend, I'm gonna go through his best friend, and I'm gonna have all his friends, because I learned how to cook. I was cooking 7 days a week. On Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, everybody finna be in my house, because I keep up the tradition that my grandmother kept up. My mom and my aunt, they didn't do it. But all 3 holidays, and then the 4th of July, I'm finna be at my dad's house, the one that was me, and I'm finna have the whole sky lit up. I'm finna spend $700 to $800 lighting up the whole sky. People finna pull off on the side of the road, because his house sat on a half an acre. And sit way back, because I forgave him. I had to, because if you don't forgive a person, the Lord would not forgive you. He would not. I had to learn all that in order for the Lord to be blessing me with so many blessings. The strength that I had to be able to go to school full time and work full time and raise a baby by myself. You hear me? Not no daycare, not my mama needs keeping my child, a baby by myself. The Lord is almighty. He's so almighty. If we just give him a chance. And I had to hit rock bottom to learn that.
Congratulations. Thank you so much for talking. Your story is incredible.
Thanks a lot for listening to me. I'm sorry for getting so emotional.
No,
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
You probably don't get a lot of chances to talk about this, right?
I'm not gonna share with too many people, but yeah, I really appreciate it. That took a lot off of me, and it reminded me what I better start doing while I'm here. That's what, it's like I don't forgot what my purpose is of being here. And to go through those steps of my life and say, you must have forgotten how you up here doing this here mess here again, what you were doing in Houston, Texas. You don't forgot what's your real reason here. Just sharing it with you, reminding me what my real reason is.
You've done it before. You can do it again.
Yeah, and I thank you for that. Look, Wilson, you really helped me today.
I'm helping you out, sir.
Oh, Lord, have mercy, Jesus. Oh, you took my breath away. You took my breath away. I know I didn't see just 1 0. Oh, no. Oh, you took my breath away. Oh, you took my breath away. Lord have mercy, Jesus. I better get my together. You hear me? I better straighten up. Oh, I knew ain't nobody take my breath away. I never had anybody to take my breath away. You took my breath away. Oh, you took my breath away. Oh, I can't explain it, but you took my breath away.
It's all right.
You took my breath away.
I'd love to see you clean up. I'd love to see you get up for sure.
Oh my God, you took my breath away.
I don't know if I can have you sign here.
I better take heed.